It was a guy that got shot. They crashed the car, police chasing them. They went one way, he went another way.
When you look at that video, to you, that is Hakeem Robinson. Your son, Hakeem Robinson.
Oh.
On January 15, 2020, a law enforcement officer witnessed one of the most savage and cold-blooded murders of the decade. The perpetrator remained unidentified, though authorities had their theories. To bid to gather more details, they summoned rapper Ksoo's father, where they would deliver the devastating news that his son was involved in a homicide. What unfolded next became one of the most astonishing and unforeseen moments in the history of interrogations.
They called it the story. It's on the story saying that killing the toes done.
Abdul Robinson Sr. was the head of a ruthless crew in Jacksonville, Florida, and involved his sons in the lifestyle. One of them was Hakeem Robinson, widely recognized as Ksoo, a rapper who had recently been feuding with another artist online. Charles McCormick, also known as Lil Buck, had dropped a diss track aimed at Hakeem. Later, a dashcam video recorded McCormick being gunned down by a man wielding an assault weapon and wearing a tactical suit. Eventually, Hakeem and 3 other individuals were taken into custody in relation to the killing. Later on, Hakeem's father was also summoned for interrogation and informed that they believed his son had viciously killed a man and was likely facing a life sentence. However, what the detectives didn't anticipate was the response they'd receive from his father.
Mr. Robinson, again, Joel Cooper with the State Attorney's Office. Here to take a sworn statement from you. If you would please raise your right hand. Mr. Robinson, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You understand that the oath you just took is just like taking an oath in court, and that if you lie in a material way, that is a felony. It's called perjury, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The investigator poses a few additional questions to Abdul, verifying the oath and making sure he isn't impaired or being coerced. He then reviews some information and proceeds to talk about the killing of Charles McCormick.
Now, today you're obviously familiar with the person.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As it relates to your case.
Yes, sir.
And his nickname.
Yes.
Are you aware of a song put out prior to him being shot and killed in January 2020?
Yes, sir.
And what was your understanding of what that song was about?
It was a diss song about.
So you said a diss song?
Yes.
Did Hakeem Robinson know about the song?
Yes, sir.
Did he ever talk to you about the song?
Yeah.
And how did he feel about the song?
He didn't like it.
Prior to McCormick's killing, there had been an ongoing feud between the 2 rival crews, ATK and KTA, leaving several casualties behind. As the head of ATK, it's clear he would have been aware of some aspects of this, but he insists he was never personally involved. However, as we approach the timeline of McCormick's death, things become murkier for Abdul. He states that 2 of his sons had played the track for him, and none of them approved of it. What makes matters worse for him is that right after the murder, he got several phone calls from individuals suspected in the case, directly requesting a getaway ride from the location.
Now, going again back to January 15th of 2020, that day, were you called by Abdul Robinson Jr., your son?
Yes, sir.
And was that from a number that you recognized as belonging to him?
Yes, sir.
What did he want?
He wanted me to go pick up Scotty.
Okay. Did you also get phone calls from Leroy Whitaker?
Yes, sir.
And what did he want?
Telling me where he was at to come pick him up.
Did he tell you if he was alone or did he have anybody with him?
No, he said him and Butter was together.
So Leroy Whitaker and Dominic Barner.
Being directly tied to such a major case clearly doesn't put Abdul in a favorable position. In fact, the authorities actually believe he may be a direct accomplice to the killings. Abdul has been in this game a long time. He understands that maintaining his innocence for as long as he can is crucial, which sets the stage for his chilling confession later in the case. While he remains cooperative in responding to inquiries, the detectives aim to extract as much detail about the case as they can and delve deeper into what took place when Abdul picked up Leroy.
Leroy up.
He was next to a crash car.
Did that car crash? Was it on the street or in a yard? Do you remember?
Like it was kind of like in a ditch or a yard. It looked like it might have been in like a ditch or something.
So was that near a house?
Yes.
Like in the front yard of a house?
Yes.
Abdul picked Leroy up next to a wrecked vehicle, the same car that had fled the area immediately after the shooting. This car ultimately became the breaking point of the entire investigation. After the crash, Hakeem, Leroy, and another man named Dominic Barner all escaped on foot, and 2 of them were spotted on surveillance footage sprinting through nearby gardens. Leroy and Dominic eventually forced their way into a couple's residence, took a woman hostage, changed clothes, and phoned Abdul. But this is where they slipped up. While they were making the call, the frightened woman overheard their conversation and got a clear view of Dominic's tattoos, enabling her to identify him and instantly pick him out from a suspect lineup. This blunder led to the arrest of Hakeem and every single one of his accomplices. Still, they weren't officially linked to the homicide, at least not until Abdul said this.
What do you specifically remember them saying?
That they crashed the car, the police chasing them, and Keem jumped out the car. They went one way, he went another way.
Did they say whether or not Hakeem Robinson, Keemy, had anything with him when he jumped out of the car?
Yeah, they say he had a gun with him.
Did Leroy Whitaker and Dominic Barner mention to you if anything had been left behind in the car after it crashed?
Yep, they said they left a gun in the car behind.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Before the car crashed, did Dominic Barner and Leroy Whitaker say anything about what someone in the car maybe was going to do as they fled from the police?
Oh yeah, shoot at the police.
And who was going to specifically be the one shooting?
Keem.
Although no firearm was actually recovered from the crashed car, it's becoming more and more evident just how little Abdul is holding back. Keep in mind, Hakeem is his own son and currently the prime suspect in a homicide probe. While under oath, he's obligated to be truthful, but that doesn't mean he's required to respond to every question posed by the detectives. He's choosing to voluntarily answer each and every one, leaving out no specifics. So far, he's revealed everything about that day, including the fact that he had a weapon with him and intended to fire at law enforcement while trying to escape. But even after all of this, he's still not finished giving information.
In addition to that information, did you learn about being shot and killed?
Yes, sir.
And who told you that?
Scotty explained to me that it was a guy that got shot. It was a little while back before this situation at a gas station that made this long.
So Leroy Whitaker was explaining to you it was a person that had been shot once before?
Yes, sir.
And who shot him the time before?
He did.
Scotty?
Scotty.
And the reason was because of a song that he put out?
Yes, sir.
And so when he told you that information, were you aware of who this person was?
Yes, sir.
Abdul has now confirmed a motive for the shooting, clearly stating that the reason behind it was the diss track and the long-standing rivalry between Hakeem and McCormick, even revealing that Leroy had previously shot McCormick once before. While it might not seem like it, possibly the most damaging statement of all was when he admitted he recognized the victim before Leroy had even brought it up. He openly acknowledges that he had known about McCormick and the potential plans for retaliation for some time, which can easily be used to argue that the killing was premeditated. If Abdul was aware that McCormick was the target before it was even mentioned, it strongly suggests there were prior conversations about it, significantly worsening Hakeem's potential sentence. Seems any loyalty he had toward his son has vanished, as he's now completely cooperating with law enforcement. This is the moment Abdul chooses to seal the case entirely by making a chilling confession, one that would stun the investigators, destroy his image as a gangster, and ultimately condemn his son for good.
Did you see anything on social media posted by your son Hakeem Robinson that concerned you?
Yes, sir.
And what was that specifically?
They called it the story. It's on the story saying that killing the toes done.
Was that like Instagram story?
Yeah, Instagram story.
And was that something that was posted by Hakeem Robinson?
Yes, sir.
When you saw that, were you upset?
Yes, sir.
Did you try and reach out and speak to Hakeem Robinson?
Yes, sir.
And when you spoke to him, what did you tell him?
I told him he need to take that down.
Did he deny being involved when you told him to take that down?
No.
Now, as part of the discovery in this case, you've had an opportunity with your attorney to watch what I'll refer to as a dash cam video, a video that actually recorded the murder of Charles McCormick. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've watched that?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you watched that video, could you see what the shooter was wearing?
Yes, sir.
Could you see how the shooter ran?
Yes, sir.
How the shooter moved?
Yes, sir.
Did you also see the firearm that was used?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you watched that video of the murder of Charles McCormick, did you recognize the shooter?
Yes, sir.
Who was the shooter in that video?
Hakeem Robinson.
Your son, Hakeem Robinson.
Yes, sir.
Without even a moment's pause, Abdul delivers two crushing blows to Hakeem's case, both of which would later be used against him in court. Not only did he voluntarily provide law enforcement with information they hadn't yet uncovered regarding the Instagram story, he also stated that Hakeem never denied killing McCormick and outright confirmed that the individual seen in the dashcam footage firing at McCormick was, without question, his own son. Since that interrogation, Hakeem has also been charged in the murder of a 16-year-old teen named Adrian Gaynor, also known as Bibby, and has pleaded not guilty to both counts of first-degree murder. As of now, his trial is still underway, but regardless of what happens next, his entire world has been turned upside down, all because his father chose to reveal everything to the authorities.